there, this is Taya, and today we're gonna train a marker. Our video today is going to be a more practical video because I already have a theoretical video about marker and it's in my series called Dog Training Dictionary that you can watch right here. But today our video is gonna be more centered on how to choose your word that you're gonna use as a marker, how to charge a marker, and how to use it in training. So let's get started. How do you pick a word that's gonna serve as a marker? Technically, you can pick any word that you desire and it can still be a marker if you charge it enough times, but there are 5 rules that I prefer that make a word a decent marker. So, the first rule is that marker should be very short word. I would prefer a word like yes or bra or yeah over great job, great, you're doing good, or whatever other word combination you might use for a marker, or like good boy, good girl, good dog, whatever. Simply because when a marker is short, it's way easier to charge it and to use it. Second rule is that your marker is pronounced the same in every circumstance that you have. So that's why I prefer a shorter word, because it's way less likely that you'll make a mistake with a shorter word. So, for example, if you're going to use yes as a marker, you pick a specific pronunciation of that word that you'll desire and you charge it as your marker. So for instance, if I'm picking yes, then I'm making that pronunciation of s sound very significant, and I'm not going to use yes, yes, yes. So I'm trying to pronounce the word marker, the marker word, every single time the same as a clicker. So your word is basically going to turn into a clicker sound. That's why it should be pronounced the same every single time. Third thing is your word marker should not be used in a routinely life many times. So, for instance, if you're picking the word yes as a marker and you're putting the marker word yes, you shouldn't be using yes in everyday life. You can say yes, you can, I don't know, say yeah, yep, whatever. But if you have a specific marker word with a specific tone and pronunciation that you're using, you should not be using it in everyday life when you're chatting with your dog or when you're just chatting to other people in front of your dog, because then you might lower the understanding of the marker and you might create a tone-deaf dog. So if you're picking the word yes as a marker, you still can use it in everyday life. What I'm saying is when you're talking to your friends and your friend is saying, hey, do you want to go to the park? And you're like, yes, that's not what you should be doing. The fourth important thing is that your marker should always mean reward. So marker always equals reward. When you're using a marker, you should always reward your dog, you should always reinforce your dog, and you should not make the assumption that your dog already knows that marker equals reward until it actually does. So it's better to overdo it than underdo it, and then you'll create a gray area of training with your dog. The thing is, the dogs are pretty black and white creatures. So when you're bringing something grayish in the black and white area, it creates confusion for them and it creates frustration. So in order to avoid frustration, personally, I like to overdo the marker rather than underdo it. And trust me, when you overdo it, your dog will be grateful and will say thank you, because then you're creating clear boundaries and clear rules that your dog can follow. Fifth thing is probably one of my most favorite. Every time you use a marker, you should use it with enthusiasm and happiness, unless you have an overly aroused dog and you're training to relax, or you have some relaxation techniques that you're trying to incorporate and you need your marker for that term. Other than that, your marker should always be happy, arousing. Your marker should always be engaging. If you're playing cards or chess or whatever with your friend, who would you rather play with? A friend who's always like, yes, you're doing great job. Yeah, good job. Great, buddy. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. Yes, that was great. Or with a friend who's like, Yeah, it's decent. Yeah, you're doing great. Yes, yes. Good job. Good job. Yes. I hope you get my point. So, you want to make the play and the games and the training with your dog as engaging as possible, because then you're creating value through interaction. And this is important. Tone is important. Enthusiasm is important. You want to be enthusiastic with your dog. You want to add energy in training with your dog. You want to add contact, and all of that ties it together. Now, when you know the rules that you should follow in order to pick your marker word, you need to charge it. And what do I mean, or what do other dog trainers mean when they say charge a marker? Well, it's basically you're explaining to the dog that this word that you have selected has value, has reward potential, has reinforcement. So, how do we do that? Well, I like to start very easy. I like to bring my dog, bring some food, and every single time I say a word, I reward my dog. That's it. Nothing harder than that. So I picked word yes as my marker, and every time I'm saying yes, I'm giving my dog some food. Yes, treats. Yes, treats. Yes, treats. And you're basically, again, you're working as a clicker. So if you ever done clicker training, or you know how to do clicker training, then it will be so easy for you. Every time you're saying the word with exact same tone, exact same pronunciation, with enthusiasm, you're giving your dog some treats, and you're creating that idea that this word specifically that I handpicked for you equals reward. You can also incorporate charging your marker inside the specific techniques you're doing. For example, if you're teaching your dog cue sit, and you can start incorporating your marker there and charging your marker in the middle of the training. But I don't like this approach, because again, I like to bring one new thing into the training with your dog. And by charging a marker at the same time you're learning a cue, you're bringing two new things for a dog at least. And this might lead to some frustration. This might lead to for the dog being unclear in the situation, or it might be a little bit grayish area of training that again can rise up issues of frustration and a little bit of confusion. So let's take a look on how I charge a marker with my dog.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Once you've done it enough times, you will notice that once you say your marker word and it's charged enough, and it's like completely ready to be used, your dog demeanor changes. So when you're saying a marker, your dog might start licking the lips, expecting the reward, or licking the nose, or I don't know, being a little bit more excited or a little bit more aroused, or making that eye contact, waiting for a reward. Once this is already happening, your dog at least understands the meaning of marker word, and you can incorporate it in your training.
Yes.
So the last step is the easiest step you can do. Once you have your marker word, you have charged it enough times, you're incorporating it in your training, and you start training with the marker word. I have a short clip of me training with my dog with the marker word right here.
Position. Yes. Yeah. Yes. One. Yes. Sitz. Yes.
So yes, it's just as easy as it looks. You're picking your marker word, you're charging it, and you're using it in your training. The third part is actually the hardest part. But marker is a foundation. It's like a stepping stone for your any other type of training you want to do. It's either trick training, obedience, agility, sports training. It doesn't matter. Your choice. The world is your oyster, but again, marker is a foundation. It's a stepping stone. Once you have it, once you use it, once you consistently follow it with a reward, then it makes life for your dog way clearer, and it reduces frustration, and it makes your training go way faster. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You can't imagine how appreciated you are, you specifically. So thanks again. Try subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment if you have anything to say, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.